All right. Well, welcome. And, I guess the good or bad thing about being live is that you have these technical difficulties. But welcome. Congressman Andy Ogles here. This episode 2 of Restoring the Republic. Just a few things to talk about this week. Quite frankly, some big things to talk about. So we just voted literally on a continuing resolution. It's short term. We'll get to that. We'll hit the mailbag. We continue to get lots of letters from around the country. Surprising large number or amount from California. Oddly enough, you're totally changing. There are conservatives in California. I didn't know that. Just kidding, California. Talk about how Google, and we now have proof how Google is weaponizing its search engine against Republicans or against conservatives. And this is troubling. And so now they're scrambling to try to fix the glitch, if you will. So, a few months ago or a few years ago, if you had said as a conservative that this was, you'd been a conspiracy theorist, but we'll get to that. Is Joe Biden competent? He just went to the doctor. And of course, you have the Trump Supreme Court case. So just really off the top. So we voted on a continuing resolution, and it's one of those, not quite ready for the mailbag, but to continue resolution. And so it's laddered, meaning part of it, so that's the vote bell there, but part of it expires on the 8th of March and the other the 22nd. So we'll come back next week and we'll do a larger extension. Now, as a member of the House Freedom Caucus, we're advocating for a longer term spending bill because it triggers an automatic 1% cut, which isn't huge, but it's better than nothing. So that's what we're advocating for. Now, what's interesting in this dynamic is in these negotiations, part of this has been agreed to, but now Mitch McConnell is retiring from his position as leader in the Senate. So you've got 4, maybe 6 candidates that are vying for that position. They need 25 votes to get the votes to coalesce around them to be leader. So it'll be interesting to see if I would predict that you're going to see a lurching to the right of the Republican caucus as someone tries to emerge as the new leader, the new face of, again, the minority leader in the Senate, but ultimately the majority leader next year, because it's pretty well, I think, given that the Republicans will win the Senate in 24. Obviously, you have to have good candidates, you have to campaign, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll be interesting. So we actually have a shot, it may be a long shot, of getting a budget cut, a small one, for the American people. So stay tuned. We'll be working on that next week. Now going to the mailbag. We've got a few letters, so we'll just give a shout out. And typically I'll do last names. Unless they have a really unique last name, then I'll just say first name. But that way no one gets targeted because of supporting me. But with that, yeah, Mr. Jones in Franklin, thank you for reaching out. We've got, now this is unusual last name, so we'll just say Miss Barbara. Hello, Miss Barbara, thank you for reaching out to me as well. And then we've got a letter from Nashville, from the district, from Timothy, wanting to know, what would I do? Does the government have the right to shut down churches? And I would say absolutely not. And as a mayor of Maury County, I was a loud voice of keeping my community open, and specifically the rights of churches to worship. And so of all the places and all the things that might get regulated, the one thing that should be able to remain open, even in a crisis, would be our churches, because it's in times of crisis that I think we often lean on our faith the most. Although I would encourage you to pray daily and all those sorts of things, but again, Timothy, I would fight to keep our churches open. Now, so we'll just do a quick shout out around the country. We've got Santa Paula, California, looks like Mr. Goodwin, or actually that's Mrs. Goodwin. I should probably put on my glasses. And by the way, I'm eating lunch at my desk today, so I've got some almonds here and a little tangerine, whatever you call this guy. But that's the glamorous life of a congressman. We had a committee markup, we went straight to votes, and then right after this I've got another meeting, so I'm just trying to get something healthy in. But we've got Union, New Jersey, Mr. DeVito, thank you for reaching out here. We've got a whole bunch. This is Bloomingdale, Illinois, Miss Arlene. I can't say your last name, I apologize, but it's hard to pronounce, but thank you. Got a bunch here from Illinois. Again, California, got a big stack from California. And then one from Florida here, Miss Mary Delamonte from Florida. So thank you for reaching out. We do take a look at these, even if you're not from the district. It's important that we, especially if you're in the 5th Congressional District, reach out. We want to hear from you. That's what we do. That's what I do, and I want to represent you. But again, a shout out out and kudos to all of those folks from around the country who are showing me support as I continually am attacked for being a conservative, but that's neither here nor there. Now let's talk about Google for a moment. Now this is a little bit concerning. So again, if you'd said a few months ago or a couple of years ago that the algorithm was fixed and it's slanting left with all the wokeness that's taking place, it's now been revealed. So their AI, if you search George Washington, they are rewriting history, Google is, and making them individuals of color. Other famous figures are now, they're applying different faces and multiracial, which again is fine, but you can't rewrite history. George Washington is who he was, right? You can't change that. And then again, here's some other images where they've been altered to, again, it shows the bias built into the algorithm. And so look, report the news, report the search. Let's look through. Let's not have let's have blinders on, if you will, and take color out of these equations and race out of these equations, and let's treat everybody equally, right? And we've got to get to that. And Google, I challenge you to do the right thing, right? And quit trying to show your bias and your political agenda in your search engine. Otherwise, you're going to find Congress regulating you. Joe Biden. We'll show a clip here. You know, the question would be, is he competent? And obviously that's a real question that should concern regarding any president. Here we go.
What would you want to do? What's your 2024 agenda? Because I feel like we live in such crazy times that is one of the things I feel we hear less about.
Look, the 2020 agenda is to finish the job.
Would you want to do? What's your 2020?
So right there, I think that his name is Seth Meyers, right? What is your 2024 agenda? And he goes, well, my 2020 agenda is we've got to finish the job. I have some grave concerns. Speaker McCarthy, former Speaker McCarthy, was just on Fox News talking about what is Joe Biden like behind the scenes. And what he describes is that Joe Biden has a teleprompter by way of note cards. And so any conversation you're having from him or with him, he has these note cards that he refers to, and if for some reason, if the speaker, Kevin McCarthy at the time, would try to deviate the conversation away from those note cards, the staff would step in. And so I think we have a situation where the mental acumen of our chief executive officer, our president, is in question. I think that's why you see Russia attacking Ukraine. That's why you see China advancing against Taiwan. That's why there was an attack against Israel, because the world sees this as weak. And you even have other countries, like their version of Saturday Night Live is making fun of Joe Biden. So this is a problem. And so I would say to Nikki Haley, it's time for you to drop out of the race. It's time to coalesce around Donald Trump. You can like him, you cannot like him. But that being said, he is our nominee. He is going to be the nominee. And quite frankly, he's going to be the next president of the United States. And so, here's an example of a cognitive test. So that would be, a Ferrari, a bird, and I'm kidding. But, it's a quite simple test. So he had a physical. He got an all clear. But in that, there was nothing really, checking his, again, how sharp he is. How sharp is he? And so, again, being able to name the gator or the elephant or the cobra, right? And why they didn't do that, I don't know, especially at a time when he's being attacked for it. So with that, that's just a really quick episode, a quick update. I continue to be attacked because I'm outspoken, but that's okay. I came here to fight for our country, to fight for our republic, for my family and your family, and I will continue to do so. Thank you, and God bless.